Hey guys, and welcome back to the School Finesse podcast. I'm your host, Amen. Today I'm trying something a little different. So what I have today from start to finish is college and university news. So I know sometimes when you hear news, you think of, I don't know what you think of, maybe some boring ramble. But take my word for it, this news will be quite different. I've hand-selected the most up-to-date and relevant updates for you. Here's what you can expect. Some college and university news, a segment called Books, Netflix, and Chill, and then a quote of the week. All right, here we go. You all have probably heard of Harvard University's dilemma. The Ivy League University in Cambridge, Massachusetts is under fire. Some are saying that the university may have confirmed that they have different SAT score expectations for students depending on their race and sex. Apparently, some school officials have confirmed some of the allegations but defend their practices, saying that they are not discriminatory. Then over in South Carolina at Columbia College, we have a professor who is teaching a class with a baby carrier strapped on her. And the carrier is not empty. She is carrying a student's child. The student notified her that she had trouble finding childcare during the class time. You know, everyone has their opinions on this, and some people are saying it's right, some are saying it's wrong. Some people are in support of the gesture, and they say that the professor is caring, thoughtful, and helpful. But on the other end, we have those who are saying this act is not professional, it's distracting to students, it brings liability issues, and it's just a terrible idea. Up next, the university is facing a $215 million lawsuit, and I'll tell you why. But first, here's a reminder. If you want the best chances for some money for college, you still need to fill out your FAFSA forms, the free application for federal student aid. Keep in mind that there are 3 major deadlines: the school, state, and federal deadline. The school's deadline is usually the earliest, but it is specific to individual institutions. Then, as you probably know, the state deadlines are different from state to state, so you should keep that deadline in mind because each state has limited funds. So first come, first serve. For federal funds, you have more flexibility with time, but remember, it's still the same thing as a state. It's first come, first serve. You can find out more on blog.ed.gov. All right, the University of Southern California has a $215 million lawsuit over sex abuse scandals. Over 500 students notified the institution of mistreatment from a gynecologist at the Student Health Center, but the school allegedly did not address the students' concerns. This case is active, and you can find more on this topic in the recent New York Times article by Jennifer Medina. So, did you know that New York University NYU School of Medicine covers the cost of tuition for all students? This is regardless of merit or financial need. And guess what? NYU was the only top-ranked U.S. medical school to offer full tuition scholarships to all students. Now you may be wondering, why does this university do this? They realize the financial burden on the graduates of the university, and plus, they noticed that some students would shy away from the general medical field to pursue other studies. This was mostly because the cost of education was too high. And in addition, medicine can be one of the most expensive courses of study. So this means if you or anyone you know wants to get into medical school, look into NYU's program and see what they offer. Yes, you pay for your own housing arrangements, but I mean, the tuition is free. All right, so in our last segment here, it's called Books, Netflix, and Chill. For you book lovers, I'll tell you about 3 popular reads, and we'll do the same for Netflix. And for the chill part, I'll tell you about 3 unique relaxation tips for the week. If you're not a book fan, bear with me, the Netflix segment is after this one. So according to Goodreads.com, here are 3 of the most read books this week in the United States. Number 1, The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. The description reads, The Great Alone is daring, beautiful, stay-up-all-night story about love and loss, the fight for survival, and the wildness that lives in both man and nature. Number 2, The Ragged Edge of Night, Olivia Hawker. The description, this novel is an emotionally gripping, beautifully written historical novel about extraordinary hope, redemption, and one man's search for light during the dark times of World War II. And finally, number 3, Educated, a memoir, Tara Westover. Here's a little background on this one. Quote, an unforgettable memoir about a young girl who, kept out of school, leaves her survivalist family and goes to earn a PhD from Cambridge University. End quote. So there you have it, 3 popular reads for you book lovers. And now I'm on to the 3 best TV shows on Netflix right now. And this is according to Collider.com. Number 1, The Office US. They say the show had a shaky start, but now it'll be worth your time. Number 2, Breaking Bad. They say that Breaking Bad may be the most influential TV drama ever. And number 3, Friends. This show started in 1994, but they say it's the characters that makes the show worth watching today. There you have it, Netflix lovers. You can go watch these shows if you're bored or if you just want to relax. Speaking of relaxing, up next we have 3 out-of-the-box relaxation techniques. These are from Heather Jurgensen. You can find these techniques and others on thestrongwoman.net. Technique number 1, take a peppermint bath. And here's how you do it. Number 1, dump an entire box of peppermint tea bags into a pot of boiling water. Number 2, turn off the heat, cover, and let steep for 10 minutes. 3, dump the pot of tea into a hot bath. And 4, soak in the tub for 20 minutes or more. Number 2, hug a tree. Heather notes that this is real and the Japanese call it forest bathing. And then we have number 3, get your hands or feet into some dirt. Let me know if you try out any of these techniques and how they work for you. Again, you can get more on these tips from Heather Jurgensen from her blog post on thestrongwoman.net. A link to that article and all the sources from today's episode will be in our YouTube description box when you search School Finesse. If you have exciting news that you want me to share, please reach out to me on Instagram at School Finesse Podcast, or you can email me at schoolfinesse15@gmail.com. I can feature you or your school on the show, no problem. You know, today's episode was an overview of another format, so definitely reach out and let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'm interested in it. Alright, so that's what I have for today, but before I sign out, I'll leave you with this quote to think about for the week. It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. Herman Melville. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend who you want to succeed. Always remember, tune in every Monday morning for a new tip on how you can finesse your way through school. I'm your host, Amen, signing off.